this thing up here. Melanated family. What the hell is going on? So look, check it out. Real quick, I know it's kind of late, but I want to touch on this before I went to sleep. So I have a news story that I'm gonna read to y'all. I'm gonna talk to you about it. There's a video for it as well, so I'm gonna get into the video a little bit later. But the biggest thing I wanted to express to everybody here is we get from people outside of our community, we're always being told, me personally, this is like some personal shit because of what I preach and what I talk about. People outside of our community constantly come to me and tell me shit about how we don't get killed by the police that much. They do all these statistics about, or they show me all these statistics about the amount of black people who actually get killed by the police and all this type of shit. Whatever, right? One of the biggest threats that we have in our community, it's the possibility of dying, right? It's the possibility of getting shot by a police officer and the powers that be not holding him accountable. But do you know what I experienced in my community more than anything else? And this is specifically in the urban community. Once I moved outside of the community to a degree, these things didn't happen to me as much. It was the harassment. It was the being stopped. It was the being frisked. It was the dehumanizing situations where they're taking everything out of your pocket, making you lay on the fucking ground, then leaving. Like all of these type of incidents, right? So I'm going to tell you about a story real quick that happened to a brother in Alabama, which is more signs of the relationship between melanated people and police in this country is completely fractured. And I'm going to tell you why, family. It's completely fractured. When we look at the history of cops, people debate me on this shit too. The history of police forces in America was in the South primarily, where black people were. It was based on slavery. It was based on rounding up slaves who didn't have papers that said they were free. So a lot of the early police departments were created strictly to round up slaves and to put us in our position, right? So let's talk about it real quick. This story happened in Decatur, Alabama, right? Decatur, Alabama, which, look, every time I do a story about a city, I always try my best to research the actual city. It's when there's a story about some form of racism in a particular city, I always try to research the story to learn about the race relations. And I'm not going to just put a blanket on every town that y'all racist, the white folks there don't give a shit about us. I'm not going to put that on everybody. But a lot of times when I research the city that these particular incidents happen in, lo and behold, there's some racist shit, right? So this incident is out of Decatur, Alabama, right? So March 15, 2020, a black man named Kevin Penn. Kevin Penn is the name of the black man who filed a lawsuit against the city of Decatur, Alabama, and an officer named Justin Rippin. But check it out. This is what happened. So on March 15th, 2020, this brother who owned a liquor store, which I'm just proud to see this because in Sacramento, California, where I'm at, y'all, I don't think I've ever seen a black man that owns a liquor store, to my understanding. Like, I can't recall going in a store in my community, in the environments that I visit, and seeing a black man own a liquor store. So to me, this was just big shit. You know what I mean? So this black man named Kevin Penn owns a liquor store, Star Spirits and Beverages, owns a liquor store. March 15th, 2020, somebody comes into the liquor store to rob the liquor store, right? Of course, we in America, our Second Amendment rights should always be protected. We should always be in a position to protect what's ours, right? So this brother pulls out his gun, locks his door, puts the robber at gunpoint. Boom, pulls his gun on the robber. This is what you're supposed to do in America, right? He puts his gun on the robber, tells the dude, stay down, I'm calling the cops. He's doing everything by the book as this society says we should do, right? He calls the cops come. Let me show you what happened when the cops actually get there. So just to give you some context, because the video I'm about to show you, family, does not have value. The gentleman pulls his gun on the potential robber. When the cops get there, he does everything by the book to his assertion. He takes the clip out of the gun, sets it on the counter just to let the police know I'm not the threat. I had a pistol because of this dude on the ground, but I'm taking the I'm taking the bullets out. Everything gonna be good. Let me show you what happens when he tells the officer basically. This is what because again, the video doesn't have value, but he's basically telling the officer, hey, I put my gun down. The officer says some shit about he thought he was reloading it, but this video proves that that wasn't the case. He puts his gun down and watch what the police officer do to him. Hold on one second, family. So this is melanated people's problem with the police. It's not just about the potential of you killing me, which is valid, but more so it's the constant harassment and dehumanization of me as a person. This is how we get treated in our neighborhoods, family. Let me show you this shit real quick. Hold on one second. Where I'm at. Okay, check this out. Again, no video. Boom. The brother has his gun in his hand. He's gonna go back towards the door. He's going to go back towards the door, which is on our left, I think. He's going to go back towards the door to let them in. Look, he's letting the cops, he's telling them to come in. He has his gun in his hand. You see his gun? See his gun in his right hand? See? Boom. He letting the cops in, telling them to come in. Clip out. Boom. Clip out. Put the gun down. Clip out. Put the gun down. Clip out. He's putting the gun down, right? Right now, the bottom line is, if he's putting his gun down, see? And I don't know right there if he's reloading it or what he's doing exactly, but if he's putting his gun down, he good. Boom. Gun out of his hand. Gun out of his hand. Bam. So what he says is he told the police officer that I'm going to file a complaint because I told you guys there's a person in my store that's going to rob me. When you arrive, you're asking me questions and treating me like shit. So I'm going to file a complaint. This officer socking him in his mouth is simply based on him saying he was going to file a complaint. This brother got his jaw broke. One of his teeth came out for saying he was going to file a complaint. So where do we do this at in America? See, this is the problem. This is what I tell black folks all the time. That's enough of the video. It was only a minute long. I just wanted to give y'all the gist of what the hell I'm talking about. I tell black people all the time, my melanated family, and this is sad, but when I have a young cousin, right? Young cousin, auntie, just somebody in my family who may be going through a dispute with somebody that's in the house with them, right? Something of this nature. I always tell them, don't call the fucking police. Now, this sounds horrible, right? Because protect and serve, this is the bullshit. Protect and serve is on the fucking car. That's what's actually on the car. This black man calls the cops, says, hey, somebody's robbing me. I got him at gunpoint. Y'all come help me out. The owner of this establishment, come help me out. You see what I'm saying? So he calls the cops. The cops end up doing this shit. My family, I tell them, do not call the police. If you didn't have a heart attack, if you don't have some type of ailment where you sick, do not call the police. I know that sounds kind of crazy to some people outside of our community, but you always run the risk of some shit like this happening. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going to show some of my comments here, some of my people who be riding with me. But you damn right. I always say the same damn thing too, brother, because look, Citizens Edge, if you black, and we understand how sometimes, right, as black folks, our energy sometimes comes off as aggressive. It comes off as a little too assertive for whatever the moment may be, right? And if you're a white Caucasian man, if you're a person who was raised outside of our community, you're not familiar with our mannerisms. You're not familiar with this goddamn melanin, just to keep it real. See? So one of the biggest problems, real quick, family, one of the biggest problems I feel that this country hasn't dealt with directly, a lot of Caucasian people are raised outside of our community. They don't communicate with people black on a day-to-day basis. They don't communicate with people black on a day-to-day basis. They'll hit you with this one black friend shit. That's not what I'm talking about. They don't, on a consistent basis, communicate with people outside of their community. So they don't know much about us. They don't know our mannerisms. They don't know we talking loud sometimes just mean we having fun. They don't understand this. So they get in a position of authority as a goddamn police officer. They get in a position of authority, and you give a person who is already kind of scared of somebody, you give them a gun in authority, bad shit is going to happen. So I tell my family members, do not call the police. If you don't have a heart attack or some type of physical ailment, do not call the cops. If you having some kind of dispute and you call the cops, you don't know who they going to fuck with. You don't know who they going to shoot. You see what I'm saying? In this town, like I said, I always do my due diligence on the actual town we talking about. We're talking about the city of Decatur, Alabama, right? Which 40 years ago, 1979, 43 years ago, this town was dealing with resurgence of the KKK. 1979, around that time, this city was dealing with the resurgence of the KKK in this actual city, trying its best to rid themselves of all the black residents. Think about this. This is 40 years ago. So this is a father. This is a father 40 years ago. His kid is 2 years old. Who do you think he raised his kid to be? So we see 40 years later, these police officers, if they were raised in this town, probably even if not, if they're raised in this town, they're raised by a possible KKK member. We see do you see how deep this shit get, family? So when we talk about our issues with the police department, when we talk about defunding the police, some of this shit just sound like catchphrases to people, but this is actually real talk. We don't mean rip the police department of all their funds so they can't do a job, so to speak. No, that would be stupid. What we're talking about is redirecting some of that money. Maybe Yep, you're definitely right about that, folks. Maybe before you just allocate funds to new uniforms and new artillery, certain types of training, how about you do an outsourcing project where you try to make sure some of the officers you hire live in the neighborhoods they're going to protect. If you have all black neighborhoods, because again, Decatur, Alabama, I did some more research about this city. This city, 2021, is dealing with a housing discrimination claim. HUD is fucking these people over by basically redlining all the black citizens into one area, which we know is happening all over the country, right? So if you have black communities in America, how do you police a black community, right? It sounds like a $1,000 question, but in reality, it's just treat them like they people. But you got to have regular people in these positions. You got to have people that have empathy. You got to have white people. If it's going to be a white gentleman, he should either have to live in this community, or before he gets assigned to a black community, he should have to be involved in the community. Now, I've seen shit where you'll see a cop on camera playing basketball with the kids in the community or going to a barbecue. Fuck that. I don't think that type of thing works as much. You should have to either live there, or you should have to go on like a trial run where you are just before actually being a cop, go to the black community and see how differences are handled. Go and see how they're interacting with each other. Go to the store, go to the movies, go to a high school game, like talk to the citizens, like humanize the goddamn people around you. You know what I mean? Because if not, we're always going to have incidents like this. Now, the brother who I'm happy he actually did this, Kevin Penn is the brother's name. He filed a lawsuit. He's the proprietor of Star Spirits and Beverages. He filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Alabama on March 11, 2022. So here's the thing, family. This happened March 15, 2020. The reason why he's filing a federal lawsuit is because he filed a claim against the police department and they did nothing. He basically told him, hey, one of y'all officers socked the shit out of me for no reason. And they was like, we'll get to it, which is commonplace in this city. They got something called, what is it? Where is it? They got something called when you piss off a cop in this city, they hit you with a POP charge. A POP charge is a piss off police charge where they hit you with either, hold on one second, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, obstructing governmental operations, all these bullshit charges is what they end up hitting you with simply because you do something they don't like. So again, this black man named Kevin Penn, a person was robbing his store. He's a business owner. He owns a liquor store. He's practicing his Second Amendment rights by having his gun. He owns a liquor store. A dude is stealing from his store. He locks the door. All textbook shit. He locks the door, puts the gun on a dude, tell him to stay there till the cops come. When the cops come, he takes the bullets out of his gun. He's taking the bullets out of his gun, putting his gun down, telling the cops, he's explaining what happened. One of the cops is giving him resistance. He said, hey, man, I filed a complaint on you, right? Your job is to fucking protect and serve, right? Your job should be to protect and serve. So he tells him, I'll file a complaint on you. The cop hauls off and socks him in his goddamn face, right? Socks him in his face. The brother had a broken jaw, had one of his teeth came out, had to get that fixed. Family, this is in a nutshell our problem with the police departments in America. In my neighborhood that I grew up in, my brothers and a lot of the young men in the community, granted, some of them did sell drugs, or some of them did. How many years has it been? Shit, I'm telling them niggas. It's been a real long time, right? So some of them did sell drugs. Some of them partaked in the other side of the law to make shit happen based on a lot of factors, right? But here's the caveat. And I'm 11, 12, 13 watching, right? Anytime cops pulled up, anytime there was interaction, there was high levels of harassment. The cops knew their names. The cops told them nigger jokes damn near. The cops would take all their money, leave them there, but take their money. The cops would chase them down, take their money, take anything else they had on them, put them in the back of the police car, bring them to another side of town, leave them on the other side of town, knowing this other side of town may be around a rival gang or people that you may have a problem with. I witnessed this shit with my own eyes. They used to harass my brother so much. We knew the names of the cops. We knew their faces. We knew when they was coming. Why is this, family? Why is this? Name the white neighborhood in America that get harassed by police. The part of town I'm in, the suburb that I live in, 25 minutes or 15 minutes from where I live is a meth haven. When I say these are, I'm not going to say the name of the city, like 15 minutes from where I live is a meth haven. Hella meth addicts, dilapidated community, all white. Now, this is a white community now where it's just shitty. Like, I don't feel safe around there. I always want to say that. But check it out. In this community, hella drug dealing, hella drug selling, low-level white people, no police presence. Minimal police presence. Not an aggregated police presence where it's a whole bunch of them looking to catch somebody doing some shit. That's not what you see. You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about defunding the police, when we talk about our issues with police departments, it starts in incidents like this, where we let our guard down and say, hey, I trust you. I need help for this reason, right? When they finally come, some shit like this happens. This brother, Kevin Penn, all he did was be black and own a liquor store. That's all he did. That's why I preach to people, be careful what the fuck you calling the police for. Be careful. And again, excuse me, the captain in this area, the mayor of this city, none of them wanted to act until they seen the video. So black family, melanated family, when I say these videos are continuing to save our ass, sometimes I'm hell on somebody who's filming when they could be helping. But shit, at this point, some of this footage that we got, if we didn't have this footage, some of these people wouldn't be held accountable. You see what I'm saying? And it's just sad that we need video proof. Like, we can't just say what happened. We can't file a police report and expect the powers that be to believe us. They always gonna believe the cops because, again, when he filed the police report, the reason why it's going to a federal lawsuit is because when he filed a police report against this cop, Justin Rippin is the cop that socked him in his damn face. When he filed a police report, nothing happened, family. Nothing happened. They swept it under the rug. You see what I'm saying? This blue wall shit where they protect each other. So here's the caveat I got. I'm a smart man, right? I know that all cops aren't bad. Like, just by sheer numbers. I don't like speaking in absolutes, right? I don't like speaking in absolutes. But how are we to know? You see how white folks look at us and they'll say shit. They look at me. If they live in a small enclave and they never been around black folks, they look at me and they see T.I. Shit, they see T.O. They see any black image they seen on TV of a negative stereotype. When they see me, that's what they seeing, right? I try not to be that way in life because that happens to us. But in our situation, how do I know who's a good cop? You see the dilemma America puts us in? How do I know who's a good cop? You got on the uniform of the niggas who fuck with us. You got on the uniform of the individuals who harass us. So how am I supposed to know who's a good cop? And then you have police. When I say to myself, look, and I'm gonna ask y'all this: should black people be police officers? Like, would that kind of circumvent our treatment to a degree if we became police officers? Well, the answer to that, the problem with that, is too many black people think white ice is colder. Too many black people don't look at us as one community. Too many. I did a video the other day about the 60s and how, looking at where black people are today, how we got here, starting from like the 60s, and segregation was a good thing, which I mentioned the other day, and what I kind of said incorrectly the other day. Integration really fucked everything up. Once we integrated, we begin to see the divide even more so. And I think 2022, we're working on autopilot when it comes to a lot of this shit. So a lot of black folks, if they're in an environment where there's a whole bunch of white folks, they're scared, bro. They're scared. They're scared. They're scared to upset the people around them. They're scared to stand up for who they want to be. Assimilation at that point becomes their only option. So yes, I think we need more black officers, but not if they're fucking coons, right? Not if they're living behind this blue wall. And it takes a lot not to do that, because I'm not stupid. I understand how it works. Let's say I'm a police officer and, the ninth day on the job, some motherfuckers is shooting at us. My homeboy, my partner, he protects me, shoots somebody in my defense. That's a serious type of bond to have with somebody. See, I'm able to be contextual and see every side of shit. I understand. That's not a regular job, right? Being a police officer, that's not a regular job. You actually got a gun bucking at motherfuckers. Just going home and eating and going to sleep may not cut it. That's not a regular job. I get it. Well, if it's not a regular job, you shouldn't be hired in a regular manner. You shouldn't be able to fill out an application and be a police officer. You shouldn't be able to fill out an application, go do some goddamn tricks, go do some running and some tossing with a gun. Now you equipped? Nah. We talk about defund the police. Put millions of dollars into police training. When I say millions, I mean millions of dollars. And you got to train for 9 months. You got to train for a year. Like, you have to really dig into this shit before we put you on the street with a gun, family. You can't just put random citizens on the street with a gun. That's actually what you're doing. You know what I mean? This is why we're having so many problems with the police department, because these are regular people with pistols. So you add that, when you put them in environments where they're not used to, you put a white cop in a hood. Listen, y'all, think about this real quick. Think about how if you've never been around us, if you put somebody who's never been around us in an environment with like 25 black people, oh shit. Think about our energy when we all get together. Think about how loud the music's playing. Think about how loud everybody's talking. You're going to think something about to pop off. No, we just kicking it. We just having fun. You feel me? We just feeling one another. But that's that melanin, family. That's why the name I'll never change the name of my platform, because our melanin is the reason, family. Our melanin is the actual reason for all of this shit. You have to think and practice doing this in life, not just on some police black white shit. Practice doing this in life. Think outside of yourself. How would you think about this real quick? Me give you a quick analogy. I always think about this kind of shit. What if you were white? What if you was a white man, right? Black. What if us being black people, right? What if only time we seen white people was on TV? What if they generally were bigger than us, stronger than us. They played all the sports. They had all the girls. They had the swag, tall, dark, and handsome. Where you think that shit come from? What if, right? You only see them on TV. You only see them in these abstract environments, but you know they used to be your slave. Think about the dichotomy of this. You never see them on TV, rapping, entertainment. This is where you actually see these people. Then you finally see one in person. It's like seeing a fucking dinosaur, right? And let's keep it real. We the shit. So that makes it harder for anybody outside of our community. Think about it. Think about how cool motherfuckers is. Think about how cool we are. Think about that, right? This is why America fetishizes about everything about us. Our women, you're right. You goddamn right, man. So white people are in a conundrum, family. It takes some doing for people outside of our community to create like a kinship with us. You would think it's easy just being a fair person, just being a fair-minded person, but that's really not how it works. See, so this brother, I'm going off on a tangent because we're having fun, but this is real shit. This brother, Kevin Penn, owns a liquor store, did everything he was supposed to do. He took the bullets out of the gun. He put the gun down. Think about that. A part of that, he's probably knowing I'm a brother. I gotta follow this shit to the T. So as soon as he waves the cops in, he takes the clip out, puts the gun down. All he was doing was telling the officer, I don't like how y'all handling business right now. And he said to him about it. So you can't say something to police officers? He says something to this police officer. He gets socked in his fucking mouth. I'm happy he took this to federal court, because sometimes, depending on the position you are in life as a melanated person, sometimes you will hesitate to go that far. Sometimes you're thinking about the people you have to work with, the people you have to live around. So all of these things make you hesitate and say, you know what, I'm gonna just shove it under the rug. But this is part of the reason why we're in the situation we're in today, family. So shout out to this brother, Kevin Penn, for going all the way with this shit. And I hope he gets all the money he deserves. But in actuality, this cop need to be fired. Like, the cop need to be fired, and some type of legal action need to come on this shit based on what the cop did to this brother. You see what I'm saying? So, man, again, the video shit, I'm always hell on people who just sit there and film and don't jump in and do something. But this is like the 5th time in a month I've reported on the story where the reason why everything was copacetic, the reason why somewhat or a slither of justice came about, was because it was on film, because it was on camera. This incident, the police chief, the mayor of Decatur, Alabama, racist ass Decatur, Alabama, they didn't say anything about it. They swept it under the rug until social media, right? Which one of the great tools of our liberation today. Social media began to circulate this video, and they had to do something. You see? So we need to learn a mix of like, shit. If it's 2 of y'all, one of y'all need to help who getting, one of y'all need to help, one of y'all need to film, but we need to figure out a way to do both, because we can't stop filming. Without the film, this brother wouldn't be getting no justice at all, family. You know what I mean? So and like I mentioned, Decatur, Georgia, not only did the KKK have a resurgence in 1979, but also a year ago in 2021, HUD was sued for discriminatory actions. Basically, there's low income housing in Decatur, Georgia. There's a low income high rise that's like 95% white. 200 miles away is the next low-income community, and it's 100% black. So we're still getting redlined. We're still getting systematically deprived of resources, family, and the cops just make shit worse. Like, the cops in the police treatment that we get, it's just evident that there's an actual system working against us. You feel me? So this has been your brother Harrison, man. Do me a favor, like this video, share this video. If you listen to this on one of the digital platforms, make sure you leave a review. But it's deeper than just police brutality. The reason why we don't like police is because we don't know what we're gonna get. It's like a fucking it's like opening a fucking Cracker Jack box, right? Because some of us, I'm in a position where I'll get a nice officer and I'm surprised. Like, think about this. Do y'all be driving like shit? All my shit's legit, nigga. I ain't got no insurance problems. I ain't got no registration problems. Cops get behind me. I sweat slightly. Why? I'm hella grown. I'm a fucking man. Why the hell am I sweating when the cop get behind me? Why? Because I don't know what the fuck. Right? For being raised in my neighborhood a couple years ago, I'm doing better now. I had to stop living in my rear view. I'm looking like they after me. I'm like, what's wrong with me? I'm an upstanding citizen, pay my taxes when I want to. Shit, what the fuck? Why am I scared? Why am I living with this embedded type of fear? You see what I'm saying? This shit shouldn't be legal, but what we can't do is crawl up under a rock and act like this shit ain't happening. I know some of y'all scared. That's why I'm here, family. That's why I told you I'm your unity coordinator. You feel me? Empowerment specialist. You know a coon, right? You know, like I was telling my homeboy, you know a coon? Send him on over here. I'll get him right. Right? We got too many scared Negroes. Because when it go down, what if it actually go down? I'm not gonna speak in direct terms. What if it actually go down one day? What you gonna do? Run, hide, act like it's not happening? No, you're gonna die first, is what's gonna happen, family. Let's get this shit together. Understand we need everybody, but I talk about these stories with you guys to piss you off. I'm gonna be honest. I want to light a fire under your ass so you can know it's still going on, so you can know, okay, mentally, what can I do to help this struggle? This is what I'm doing. Feel me? And I'm gonna do some other shit too, but this is my thing. What's your thing? What you gonna do to help us? Run? lie to your kids about racism? I just did a story about a teenage boy, like a biracial kid, at school one day, and the students in the faculty have a slave auction on video. Like it's like a project or something they're doing for the whole school, right? Thankfully, the mom in this instance reported it, put it on social media, whatever. But what the fuck, family? You see where we're living at? So don't deny these things exist. Try your best to help out. You don't have to walk around with your fist in the air being mad at everybody, but don't be afraid to have your fist in the air being mad at everybody. Shit. You know what I mean? Be a little radical when you need to. I know you got a job. I know I know your boss is white. So what? Be a little radical. Be covert with it. You ain't got to be overt with how you approach things. This system does hella shit to us from a covert manner. We can do the same thing. You ain't got to announce your plans. You ain't got to say what you're going to do all the time. But at the end of the day, you got to understand we need to unify in some way. You feel me? This is your brother Harrison, Melanated Convo.